Hey everyone, welcome back to the 7th installment of the series. I'm Jeremy and you are watching Twisted History. Today's topic, the October Crisis. Also prepare for a lot of French words that I'm going to outright butcher their pronunciation, so I'm going to apologize in advance for that, but let us begin. Now I have to admit, despite all the good things about the 60s, like the first commercial satellites being launched, DRAM being invented, and the good old protest rock, it didn't take away from the fact that the entire world was going to shit. Here in Canada, we hadn't seen many problems until the late 1960s, where in Quebec, I know, big shocker that is, a group of rabble-rousers known as the FLQ had started to appear. The FLQ emerged in 1963, when an appetite for a creation of an independent Quebec state emerged due to a nationalist discontent and high unemployment rates. Vowing to use any means necessary, including violence, the Front de Libération du Québec carried out almost 200 crimes ranging from robberies, bombings, and kidnappings. The October Crisis originated from the kidnapping of James Cross, a British trade commissioner in Montreal. The kidnappers demand, over a series of public messages, that a number of detained FLQ members were to be released, a $500,000 ransom, and the broadcast of the FLQ manifesto. The manifesto, read on Radio Canada on October the 10th of 1970, had reached Quebec Minister of Justice, and he offered the safety of the kidnappers in return for Cross. On the same day, another FLQ cell kidnapped Pierre Laporte, the Minister of Immigration and Labour, raising a swift response from the federal government under Pierre Trudeau. On October the 15th, 1970, the Quebec government requested aid from the Canadian Armed Forces to reinforce the local police. On the 16th, the federal government acknowledged, and, by invoking the War Measures Act, the FLQ was outlawed as membership would be a criminal act and many arrests were authorized without charge. For the first time in Canadian history, Trudeau had invoked the War Measures Act during a domestic crisis, as over 450 people were detained.
In the kind of society that you live in.
Well, there's a lot of bleeding hearts around who just don't like to see people with helmets and guns. All I can say is go on and bleed, but it's more important to keep law and order in this society than to be worried about weak-kneed people who don't like the looks of a soldier.
At any cost? At any cost? How far would you go with that? How far would you extend that?
Well, just watch me.
Man, you gotta admit, Trudeau just does not care. The way he handles the reporter in that video is absolutely hilarious because just by the look on his face, he's really holding back what he really wants to say, but I digress. On October the 17th, Pierre Laporte was found dead in the trunk of a car near St. Hubert Airport. And in December, police had found the cell holding James Cross. The members of the active cell were arrested and convicted of either kidnapping or murder. The Public Order Temporary Measures Act had replaced the emergency regulations under the War Measures Act in November of 1970. The October Crisis has been one of the most notorious domestic acts of violence Canada has ever witnessed. The invocation of the War Measures Act was highly controversial, with many Canadians supporting and condemning it, but nevertheless, it was crucial in putting down the French nationalistic movements. The disappearance of domestic terrorism in Quebec is not only due to the use of the War Measures Act, but is also due to the democratic separatist movement in the 1970s leading to the election of Parti Québécois. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next episode, as we aren't ready to leave Quebec just yet. See you in the next one.